All right. And we are live. Hello, everybody. Jennifer Hart here. And today we have with us Mark Souza of Souza's Heating and Air.
Glad to be here.
He's a local celebrity of the small town that we are both from, and that is a place called Manteca, California. So I'm trying a new, okay, I see we have a viewer. All right, so we're working. Great, that's awesome. I'm trying a new method today for this live post here. So I wanted to have Mark on because we both have kind of the same mission to start bringing awareness and I guess like just mindset shifts, paradigm shifts, if you will, to the world and to our community, to everybody globally. So first, Mark, let's talk about you and I, how we know each other. So we know each other from high school, right? And You know what? I was thinking about that story that you told me the other day, and I'm not going to share it, but it was just like a memory he had of us. And after you told me it, like I faintly remember it now.
You do remember it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But what I mostly remember is Mark would put together these huge parties called Souzapalooza in our town that all the people would come. It was at this really popular bar, and he would donate the proceeds or some of the proceeds, I'm not exactly sure, to charity every year. And I just absolutely love that. And, you know, it really goes to show like where Mark's heart is at and how he likes to give back to the community and to people. And there was one other story I remember specifically when I was doing the Homes for Heroes program, and you contacted me and there was someone you wanted to acknowledge, and you were like, can I nominate them? And in that program, it was specific to a certain group of people, like healthcare workers and stuff. So I was like, no, but this is great. And so it like had me come up with an idea, which I love, of like having a nonprofit where you can recognize people in the community who help other people and like surprise them. It was such a fun thing. So one day we will create that, and it will be
okay. I forgot who that was.
It's in our messenger somewhere, so we will not forget that person. So tell us about what you do and about your business that you have.
Well, I started a heating and air conditioning business early on in 2019. So I didn't know how I was going to do it. I hardly had any money. I just me and my pickup truck, and I managed to save up enough money to scrape together for a little service van. So that was just me and a service van for 2019, and then kind of grabbing help where I could. So, you know, it was all nerve-wracking that first year. I didn't know how I was going to do it, how I was going to reach my goals. So I knew I needed that quantum leap, because up until that point, all my goals were pretty safe. You know, there were comfortable goals. Like you may have heard of the ABC goals. A is your goal that you know that you can do. The B goal is the one that you think you could do. And then the C goal is the one that you just absolutely have no idea how the hell you're going to do it. So I was starting my first C goal in the summer of 2019. So I knew I needed a quantum leap. I knew I had to get my mindset prepared for that, because my reality was, having seen my dad run a heating and air conditioning business and my grandpa do it, it wasn't a good experience growing up. They were always pissed off. Everything was always stressful. They came home, you know, bitching about this, bitching about that. So I knew I had to change my mindset towards it. And I'd already been, you know, kind of diving into the self-development world a little bit, kind of making gradual strides here and there, but I couldn't break this, you know, this marker. I couldn't get past a certain number every year. So I realized I wasn't growing anymore. And the next logical step was just to start the business and figure out how to do it later.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ready. They call that ready, aim, fire. No, ready, fire, aim. So you get ready, you start doing it, and you aim later. And I learned that in one of my workshops, and it is true. Like when you start to do things, you start to figure it out. But what I love about what you just said is you were able to recognize that although you had the knowledge from the family history, you grew up in the business, that you knew there was a gap, something missing. And that's what's really important, is because I think that we have a lot of gaps in society. Like I don't remember learning about mindset in school and, positivity and how to break through limited beliefs. And for people, I didn't know what a limited belief was when I started in the self-growth and development world. So if anyone's watching and you don't, it's basically a belief that limits you from doing bigger, being a bigger person, expanding your business. There could be something that's there. And so, Mark and I ended up reconnecting and finding out that we're both on this path of self-growth and development. And he's been working on opening his own company for heating and air conditioning. So like the topic for today is not truly about Mark's business as heating and air conditioning. It is, and we'll touch on it for sure, but it's more so about his growth into the business and him as a person, and how, we need to change the mindset of the world around trades. And I will get into that in a little bit, but so you have a new goal you've opened your own business now. You service our area, all of the Central Valley 209 area code for anybody who's not from here. And you are doing heating and air conditioning. That's new installations, maintenance, repairs. Anything I'm missing there?
No, you pretty much got it all covered. Yeah.
Okay. And Mark's a stand-up guy, so I highly recommend him. Where's my thumb at? Make sure it's in there. But you have this new goal. So yeah. I'd love if you would share your new goal with us and with whoever's viewing.
Yeah. So the goal is, this is something I see. Developing goals is even a skill set in itself, because I didn't, I just thought you just wanted to do something and you did it. There's a strategy to it that has a lot of power to it. And this is something I picked up at the end of 2019 when I went to to join Bob Proctor. That's the guy from The Secret, at his workshop. And he started kind of putting these things all together for me. Because again, I was stagnant and I didn't know how to make the transformation from employee to employer. So that business is another skill set on its own. And I just didn't know it. I just watched other people and hope that I could, do what I could. So I picked up all these little things here at that Bob Proctor workshop in Toronto. And one of the main things I picked up out of it was developing a goal, developing that C goal, that stretch goal. That's something that's almost so wild that it just almost doesn't seem to be true.
Yeah.
But it's to earn $1 million in gross sales my first year. I thought, that's a pretty stretchable goal. Every company I've worked for seems when they started, it seemed it took 4 to 5 years to even make that a reality or a possibility. So I thought, okay, most people probably don't hit $1 million in their first years, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. And that's the important thing. You don't know how. Don't let your house stop you. Find out your why first, and then the hows will come. So what I did was I put together this goal card in the way that they framed it, and there's a lot of wisdom, and in fact I got it right here, and I repeat it every day. It says, I am so happy and grateful now that Sousa's Heating and Air Conditioning is earning a minimum of $1 million or more in sales easily and effortlessly, and I love it. I'm a great businessman in every way, and every day I'm getting better and better, healthier and wealthier and wealthier, and it is done. Now, it seems kind of just a standard corny thing to say, but there's science behind it. There's natural law behind it. I mean, just the first two words right there, I am. That's the law of being right there. That's the God in you right there. You're putting yourself in the present tense, and then you move right on to grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that, and then whatever your desire is will follow that. So right away you have the law of being, the law of gratitude. And then you start moving on to the desire, and then you have the expectation of it when you finish it with it is done. So expectation and desire is what creates that magnetic force, because that's what we are. We're electrical beings. When you're repeating that day, that's how you ignite the law of attraction. Now, The Secret went a long way with the law of attraction, but they didn't really go into detail on how it works. And there is a scientific method to it, and it's not just mysticism or ancient philosophy. It's science. Einstein said it himself. He said, match the frequency of the reality you want, and that reality has to happen. There's no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics, according to Einstein. And the same thing in the Bible. It says, whatsoever you desire, believe that you've already received it, and it shall happen for you. So science and theology are both in unanimous agreement with this. And so you can't go wrong. There's only two places you can go for knowledge, and it's one or the other. And they're both saying the same thing. So something as simple as writing down this card, not only is it a goal, but it helps you grow. Because as I started doing this daily, I didn't believe it. Now, this is what you can learn from the book, Think and Grow Rich. Goals aren't meant for just achieving, they're meant for growing. And I didn't really understand that until I started repeating this every day and making this become a reality for me. Now, having had the mindset of a millionaire, of course I'm not a millionaire yet, but I feel like $1 million now. You know, all these things, the weird thing starts to happen when you use these natural laws, and the universe will start to conspire and collude with you in the weirdest way. You know, next thing you know, phone calls are ringing. It just started to happen almost right away. People will start setting up calls. That. Yeah, the stars will start to align for you, and everything else. It's been a great thing. It's been a good learning curve, and it's only getting better and better.
I love that. Oh my gosh, you said so many good things in there. So I was thinking I'm on the same journey as you, because like you said, I'm going from employee to employer. And when I came back from traveling around the world, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And holy smokes, that has been a journey. It's like mindset, limited beliefs, belief in yourself. Am I good enough? Who am I to do this? Like all of these things show up. And so it doesn't really matter what business that you're in. And I love that you're doing heating and air conditioning. And we'll talk about that in a minute, like our whole thing about that. But it's everybody has the ability to be an entrepreneur and to work for themselves. And it's a journey to get there. For some more than others, depends how you were raised, and it's possible for anybody. Anybody can do it. And then I want to touch on, you were talking about the laws of the universe. So I'm very familiar with the law of attraction, the laws of the universe, and I experienced it myself. Like when I left and I traveled around the world, the universe just they moved mountains for me, and it was mind blowing. Looking back after the fact, I can see how the universe conspired. If anybody hasn't read The Alchemist, that's one of my most favorite books. The universe will conspire to help you in whatever your goal is to achieve. And if we step into the place of gratitude and that we've already received it, it will show up. The how is not up to us, just like you said. So I absolutely love everything you said. You threw a lot of science in there too. And that was awesome. So your goal is to have $1 million in gross sales, and you're working on this goal because what people don't really realize. Okay, sorry, I can only speak from my own experience. What I didn't really realize is that anything in life is mindset. Anything. So you want to make $1 million in sales? Absolutely possible. It's here where you have to work to make that happen. And I've been doing a lot of work also to work on my millionaire mindset and raising my level of what I'm open to allow and achieve in my life for myself. So I think that was really important that you mentioned that. So now one of the tools that we're on a journey together of is that you and I are both going to write books to help us further along in our mindset, in our career, to grow as people. And so tell us about, what are you kind of thinking about for your book?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, like you said, it's all connected. I want to touch on two things. One is mindset, definitely mindset, because it's all tied in. Secondly, I want to touch on the dignity in the trades, the possibility of achieving wealth from the trades by shifting your paradigm, shifting your mindset. Because when I was about, I don't know, I got out the Air Force, I was about 23 and things just weren't going well. I was at a stagnant wage. It was probably 13 to 15 bucks an hour that I couldn't break. And the only thing that changed was my mindset, because the trade stayed the same. I was thinking wrong. It's like, okay, this trade sucks. I'm tired of crawling in and out, for 13, 15 bucks an hour. But when you shift it, like, you know what, I'm in a trade that's in demand. Obviously college was an option for me after joining the Air Force. I had the money for it, provided by the government, but I just didn't have any need to, because I was in a trade that was in high demand. And for the next 15 years, I tried to think that way until I couldn't grow anymore. So it's always been about shifting the mindset towards growth, because by law, you're either going one way or you're going the other.
Yeah.
So in order to climb, you just got to keep changing that paradigm. You got to keep thinking positive. There's no other way around it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And don't mind my dog. Sorry.
No worries. So as far as the book is concerned, to answer your question, as far as the book is concerned, I wanted to touch just on the changing the mindset. But again, HVAC and mindset, they're using the same principles. And I'll use an example. You have theology that teaches the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Thoughts have to become things. Okay, you're plucking these thoughts out of this quantum field, and they must move into reality. That's not just, again, it's another thing that science and theology agrees on. In science, it's called the law of thermodynamics, the first law of thermodynamics, and that's directly related to heating and air conditioning. So that stuff kind of related to me.
Yes.
Let's take your air conditioning system, for example, and how it works. You're not just making things cold. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's either moved from one place to the other. The same with thoughts that become things. How Willis Carrier took the concept of the first law of thermodynamics is he said, okay, we're going to take the heat from here. We're going to dispel it towards the coil. You have an indoor coil and you have an outdoor coil. Okay, that's how your air conditioning system works. The idea was to transfer that heat from the indoor coil and then dispel it outside at the outdoor coil. That's the simple version of it. And it's the same laws. You're using the same principles. So HVAC, yeah, it's all related. The thermostat, let's take your thermostat, for example. It's just cybernetics. Okay, so whenever you're setting your thermostat at 78 degrees and it hits 79 degrees, it failed. Okay, so it has to self-correct. Okay, and it does that all day. Okay, it doesn't achieve perfection every day. It actually fails and it corrects. Okay, that's what we have to do as individuals. Same thing. It's there's actually a good book on that called Cybernetics. I forgot the author, but available on Amazon. So all these principles, these laws of the universe and HVAC, they coincide together. So I want to show how it all mixes together in the book.
Yeah, very cool. That's super awesome. And so really what you're going to be helping people with is, because I know we've talked about multiple books for you. So one of your books, this book that you're talking about specifically right now, is you would be helping people to shift their mindset to go higher up in life, wherever that is for them. Maybe, they're an entrepreneur in the trades world. Maybe they're just in the corporate world and they want to shift themselves up the ladder. So that's what you're going to be helping people with. Very cool.
That or even doing what you have to do until you do what you want to do. I know a lot of self-development, they're really big on doing what you love to do, which is great. But I think an element that's missing, which is what Mike Rowe talks about from Dirty Jobs, is you don't have to love it right away. Find meaning in it. And there is meaning and dignity in this trade, because it's just a vessel for me to go from one place to the next. I don't plan on doing this trade forever. Believe me, I don't plan on crawling any more 140-degree attics, but I have to do that for now.
Well, and you're helping a lot of people. You're helping people be comfortable. You're helping people be happy. And because I'll tell you what, I've been to some countries where there was no air conditioning and it was freaking hot. And every day when I say my gratitude, especially when it's really hot outside, I say gratitude for my air conditioning. And it sounds kind of petty, but it's true. I'm so thankful to have air conditioning because I have experienced life without it. Even things like clean water, you know what I mean? Like not to have to boil your water every day or go to a certain source. So what you do is very important. And I know you talked too about doing a book to actually help your customers to, know kind of maybe like how not to get screwed over by an HVAC professional, answering frequently asked questions. Like, I don't know anything. So when I have a house that I'm owning again, like, maybe it's what'd you call it? The almanac, the
HVAC almanac. That's kind of the idea.
Almanac.
Yeah, it'll be FAQs, did some do's and don'ts. I don't want to concentrate too much on how not to get screwed over because you're already focusing on a negative energy right there.
Good. Thank you. Good point. Yes.
So what I do want to focus on what to watch out for, because the last thing I want to do is set my own self up for failure. Someone read my book and they're like, okay, what are you doing? I'm watching your ass, so I that's what I don't want to do. And I don't want to knock other trades, but I do want to prepare some people for what to look for. Just make sure the your technician in your house whatever he's saying, it's verifiable. He can measure it with the meter, whatever his findings were. Let him take some pictures or show you. Because it's easy to just itemize a bunch of things, and the customer's got no idea what word you're saying. So personally, I like to simplify everything. I don't even use. I try not to even. I stay away from the technical jargon and just make it simple. This part is like a battery. It does this and that. Secondly, I always walk the house assuming that 2020 is going to be right behind me. Someone's going to tackle me and accuse me of lying, because that's a possibility. That happens. So you always want to do the right thing when nobody's looking. That way you're not going to be worried when 2020 comes and follows you with the camera.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I love that. And thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to go back and change the titles of this now.
Sure.
I was like, what do people want to know about? Let's name it that. So that's really cool. So people will be able to, I feel like you got a lot of books in you coming. So it's going to be super exciting to do this journey together. And I feel very grateful that we are both going to be doing it. If anybody else wants to write a book and join us, we got a couple spots open. I'll drop a link there. And so how can people support you in your goal to reach your $1 million in sales?
Well, referrals are always a great thing. Of course, preventative maintenance is always a great thing, even if you haven't, especially if you haven't had it done in a few years. It's always nice just to have someone come out, clean the coils up, change the filters. Little things like that prevent big problems. And I run across it every summer. A clogged filter leads to a service call. So something that simple can get me out there, and they can get dirty as early as 2 months. So what can you do to support me? Throw my name out there, share this video, buy my upcoming book. And then, that's pretty much, it's just simple things that you can do to help get my name out to the town, and help restore some,
help him reach his goal.
Dignity. Yeah.
And when you and so I want to talk too, because part of the reason that you want to make more money is so that you can help more people. I talked about that at the beginning of the video. Is basically Mark loves to give back to the community and to people, and so the more money. This is what it took me a long time to learn this. The more money that I make, because there's like a stigma, like, oh, don't make a lot of money, or at least where like how. When I looked at my own money mindset, that came up. So what I realized was the more money that I make, the more people I can help, the more good I can do in the world. And so tell us a little bit about what you want to do. I know you
explained it beautifully.
We haven't hit yet.
Yeah, well, that's you kind of hit the nail on the head there. There's this common misconception that money is the root of all evil. Now, that's a passage taken out of context, but it's never really about the love of money. It's about using the money as a tool to do something, to accomplish something else. For example, if I hit $1 million, now I can start providing more services. I could perhaps buy an apartment complex, and let's say it's a 10-unit apartment complex. Then I'm providing services for 10 people right there, and then I keep doing that, and I'm providing more services. You never get something for nothing. You always have to provide service. You have to give to get. It's law of giving and receiving right there. There's some more laws. So when people tell me that money isn't everything, of course money isn't everything. Neither is struggling. You want to be comfortable also, but you want to have as much as you can. There's no limit. The sky's not even a limit. You can ask Neil Armstrong about that. Let's say the sun's the limit, because even Icarus flew too close to the sun. But that's ego. So this is all this is about, just finding that balance between material happiness, health, and wealth. Yeah.
And, you and I talked about too, kind of breaking the paradigm shift of the go to college. Like society tells us, go to school, then go to college, then find someone to marry and get married and have kids in a house with a white picket fence. Right. And I love that you recently wrote the article in the newspaper about how you want to shift the mindset about trades. And someone had told me, I don't know, I have no idea where this is, but I remember it, that like people are not choosing the trades anymore. It's almost looked at like it's not, like you were saying, when your mindset first came in of that perspective. And like go to college is not the only option. Going to trade school is an option. In my opinion, traveling is an option. And being an entrepreneur. Like no one told me like, hey, you should look into being an entrepreneur. It was just go to college. And that was the only thing I knew. And I did that. And it was great.
Yeah.
There's so many more options.
You touched on a good point there too, that the problem is education. Now, I'm not blaming any system versus the other, but I'm saying I think we've lost what education means, what education is. If higher learning is your vessel to accomplish your goal, by all means, go to college. But don't go to college to find yourself. It's just costing everybody too much money. Look what's happening. But the term education comes from the Latin word educo, which means to draw from within. Okay, so if our education system isn't doing that, then find somewhere else to do it. You know, that's where I got my education basically. And when it comes to this stuff, from Bob Proctor, I can safely say. So I spend about half of, well, not half, maybe about 1/10 of what everyone's spending for college. And I've accomplished more than probably about 90% of the people that are actually going to college to acquire a skill.
Right. So all we're saying is it's not the only way. And I know you and I talked about doing some type of like collaboration to speak to students, to show them alternative methods of things they could do. I would go and talk about travel, because that's what I ended up doing, was selling all my stuff and traveling around the world, which taught me, I feel like, more than going to college. And you went into the trade world. And so there's just options out there, and we need to really educate about what options people have and how they can choose the best thing for them, instead of, you know, everybody else saying, here, you do this, do this. Yeah. What's best for you? How do you know what's best for you? Well, that's a whole other topic in itself, but
totally. And you don't have to really, you can spend very little money with the technology we have. It starts like your morning routine. The first thing you should be doing when you're getting up is educating yourself to some degree or another. Grab a book, start hitting those books, hit some YouTube videos, motivational, start listening to these self-development. They're telling you their secrets. Everyone's complaining about the bourgeoisie and their billionaire secrets, and they're not sharing it. They're sharing it in these books. They have this information. It's all available for everybody. Yeah. So the first thing we want to do is get up in the morning and start training that subconscious mind with that stuff. Okay, what I've done personally is I've replaced all news outlets, radio, with just this Audible books. And somebody asked me one time, wasn't Audible cheating? No. Audiobooks are not cheating. If it's replacing the half of the shit that we're listening to that's making us miserable during the day, then no, it's not cheating. You know, change it. Just start listening to these things. Develop. See, thoughts produce emotion. Emotion produces action. Action drives results. Okay, so if you're not getting the results you desire, then obviously change your thoughts. Okay, and how do you do that? Start studying. Start educating yourself. Draw from within.
Yeah, be open. For me, like, my mission is to bring awareness to people to be aware of themselves. And I think the first step is be curious, be open. And just, that's the best thing I can say, is be open. Once I opened myself, things just started coming to me. Like the universe started saying, here's who you need to meet. Here's who you need to listen to on this audiobook. Here's an article you should read. And as I open and explore things, like, and be on an adventure of new things, I have learned so much, and I've grown so much as a person. And just openness, curiosity, and read a new book. I mean, books have changed my life. Go to a workshop, go to a seminar. And think about what you want for your life, and the beliefs that you do have. Where do they come from? Are they yours, or did someone else tell you that? And that was one of the biggest things for me, is I'm unlearning everything that I learned and relearning. And I think that's part of that self-growth and development world too, is shedding everything and then refilling with what you want it to be.
Again, it starts with the thoughts, and listening to all news outlets with their different opinions doesn't make you a free thinker or a critical thinker. We're just taking somebody else's thoughts, and we're essentially we're just getting conditioned by listening to news outlets. Turn the news off. Done. If it doesn't move me towards my goal, I'm shutting it off. I'm done with it.
Well, and for me as an empath, I'm like, if it doesn't make me feel good, and I leave and it's negative, and it's, I would like to talk to people and educate myself. So be explorative, and awesome. Well, I'm super excited that we had this conversation. You just dropped a bunch of bombs on me that I wasn't even expecting with all this like knowledge that you have from all these awesome books. I know you're a big reader too. But yeah, so if anybody is looking for air conditioning and heating services, I highly recommend Mark. He is amazing. He's obviously a stand-up guy. He's very knowledgeable and he has integrity, as we've learned, because he does the right thing when no one's watching, which is so important. And we're going to be on a book journey together. Our book should be out in November. And yeah, we'll keep in touch with that and we'll keep people on the journey with us. And if anybody has ideas, drop them in the comments of what Mark's book should be about. Like, or if you have questions, I wrote that in my notes, like, drop in the comments. Just if there's something you want to know about mindset or business or even specific to air conditioning, because like I said, I see a couple. So yeah, and if anybody wants to join us in our book program, we got a couple spots left. It's going to be really fun. And I don't know, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think you covered it nicely. Thank you for this opportunity. This is great.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. So, all right, everybody, have an amazing Wednesday, and we'll be back one day here soon.
Bye now.
Oh, he left.
Yo.
What up? Oh my God, you were just dropping hella bombs there.
I think I got in everything I needed to say. That was good.
Holy crap. Like, I was just like, whoa, this is not what I thought our conversation was going. You're over here, like, quoting books and shit. I'm like, man, I'm looking like a puny little, like, just.
No. That's what you're gonna. I'd imagine you're gonna have a bunch of this. The floor is gonna be yours. Like, I already got a phone call. Shit. Okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
I got someone calling in on the business line. I forwarded all mine to Nicole. But anyway, yeah, no, that's great.
Oh man, I forgot.
Without it sounding scripted, it just worked out.
Oh yeah. And I forgot to say how people can support you. I forgot to say schedule maintenance, refer a friend, testimonials. Oh well.
That's okay too, because I didn't really. My girl's she's working, so I'm not really going to be able to answer the calls for at least 6 hours right now. They're going to have to go to voicemail anyway.
Yeah. Oh, this is so funny. So when we were on, someone did a mad face. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh.
But then they changed it. I don't know, because then they changed it. So now there's a sad face from Trevor.
Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor Shamlin. I don't know if he meant to do that on purpose, but I was laughing.
He used that, or he was joking? I know he gets all that.
Yes. Oh yeah, I know he totally does. Yeah. Oh, we got.
Is it on Facebook right now?
Yeah, it's already on Facebook.
Oh, cool. How's the reactions?
All positive. Positive. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I can go and look on it, and it's there then.
Yep, it's all there, and you can see it.
Okay.
Although it says 6 comments, but I only see 4, so I don't know where the other. Or yeah, my brother commented. I don't see that now. But yeah, good stuff. Still alive.
Cool.
Oh,